Get ready. Woo! We are on tour, and we're doing it better than anybody else alive.
Cool. Let's go, baby. What you doing tonight, girl? Probably watching Grand Slam, is she, Big Joe? Holy shit.
Here you go.
Holy shit. Wow. Yo, Clint.
What?
I'm gonna need a magnetic. 180. Holy fuck, dude. This was in the same case of Tiger. Boom! Hey! Let's go, baby! I told y'all we fucking bring the fucking heat, son. Woo! Oh shit! There it is! Oh my god! The fucking bomb! Get some, motherfucker! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! There it is, I got it. I got my fucking card! Let's go, baby! Let's go! Let's go, baby! Yes, baby! Told you we can do it! Let's go, baby! Boom! What up? What up, what up, what up? This one is not about busting some cards. This is not the one. If you're looking for some cards to be busted, this isn't the one for you, man. We've been making phone calls to people, and this is part of the gig. I don't really care for that much. It's not comfortable, but it's one of the things that I think is most important, because sometimes you peel those layers back, and whenever you tell the truth and talk about some of your humble times in your life where you've been taught some valuable lessons, it's not very much fun. If you've got any type of heartbeat where success and failure mean a lot to you, whenever you peel those layers back and you talk about failure and how you get to where you got, there's a reason a lot of people don't want to do it. But it's one of those things that through this business and all the failing and experiences I had, early on in business, what I consider my sports card business, I think they're good lessons for anybody out there. And this is a good time while there's a lot of people out there that are struggling, and they're in a situation that I was in, obviously somewhere along the way on my journey. So I think it's important to get out of your comfort zone when your customers do so much for you, man, and they provide you so many, like, essentially your dream coming true. Like, I mean, fucking, they literally got you on a baseball card. We get to travel all over. People want to, people wear our shirts, and people actually want to come to our store because of the show. Like, I owe you guys a great deal. So even though I'd rather go home and watch a show, to be quite honest with you right now, I think it's cool to, for y'all anyway, for me to tell you our story and how it wasn't all hunky-dory and straight up roses. So if you're struggling or you're not where you want to be yet, to realize that it's okay, that there's other people that are like that. And we always hear all the success stories. Gary Vee talking about his wine library, Bezos and Amazon. You see the climb. You see them at the top. You might see them in step 8, and now they're on step 10, but you did not see them on step 1. Most people don't want to talk about that bullshit. Most people don't want to talk about their failures and how the failures, literally, my failures sprung me forward to success. And I mean, I guess success is a word that it's subjective, or it really depends on what's important to you. Success doesn't have anything to do with money. Like I've talked about before, success has to do with whether when you wake up in the morning, when you look in the mirror, are you looking back or are you looking away? Essentially, people who are looking back are successful to me. And I just don't really give a shit how much money you make. I really do hope you find success, though, in whatever you do, whatever it is. Like I've said, baking pies, mowing yards, sewing. I don't care if you want to sell Beanie Babies or He-Man on eBay, whatever it is, go get that shit. But what I want to do is I want to start out and really tell you kind of how this started and where we got to now and how it happened. And I don't think this will be a long video, probably 10 minutes or so, but I'm hoping me opening up and telling you some of the bumps and crappy stuff, it'll help just one person out there today who's struggling with COVID or whatever. Somebody I called that explained to me. I get notes from folks that they appreciate these things. If this isn't for you, you go grab Donnie and go watch some cards being busted. There's plenty of cards being busted across the country right now. But essentially, where this all started, as far as I feel like as an adult, was I was in college. I was doing okay, but I may have graduated if I kept going. I don't know. Probably not. I wasn't interested in school, but my father took out a loan for me. He took out a loan against one of his motels and set me up with a small business on the Court Square here in Murfreesboro. I was probably 23. Yeah, I was 23. It was 2000. And I was doing all right, getting by for a young kid, but it was tough. I can still remember my office there on the square was this big ass. I wish I had a picture of it because it would be very similar to the Jeff Bezos picture from Amazon. My big ass computer, 2 showcases, not much money, and I was grinding away and just doing the best I could. With really no sense on how to run a business, but I had a passion for the cards, and that got me along pretty good. And I did all right. And then I met Diana. She's a lawyer. She's successful. In society's eyes at that point, I definitely was not successful. And I was just, like I said, just getting by, paying my bills or paying what bills my monkey ass felt like the other ones I didn't pay. And around that time when we got married, real quick, she's a little bit older than I was, so we were going to have kids. And, I was doing my part, but just barely. And so when she got pregnant with the boys, twins, it was like, oh, fuck. So I pretty much had to, I wasn't making enough. I was not making enough for twins and a family and all that. So I had to literally close up my office. Office on the square was literally a passion of mine, and go sell vehicles, go sell cars. And I can tell you it was the year of the 50th anniversary Corvette because I sold a couple 50th anniversary Corvettes. But anyway, so I can remember working that job, and it was the worst job of my life. I've waited tables. I've worked in grocery stores. It was the worst job I've ever had. I hated it. The people I worked with, the majority of them were low character, the ones that I worked with. And it was miserable, but I had failed. And not only had I failed, I had this fucking loan hovering over my back forever. I would have to pay every year. Fucking barely get by and scrape by and make the payment. And that went on for years, probably fucking 15 years I had to pay that. It was a long fucking time. And finally, during all this time, I was always hustling, and that was one of the advantages I had. At least I had a buddy, Robbie, that would help, and I would travel all over the country just trying to keep this little passion dream alive or whatever. And finally, I caught a break. I was going to Cincinnati to do a show at Moeller. I stopped at a card shop in Louisville, and there was a Michael Jordan rookie there that he had just gotten in that was perfect. And I bought it raw, sent it to Beckett. Like 3 days later, Jim Mint, boom. And it was like, I sold it for like 10 grand or 8 grand, whatever it was. I took that money, and we were like, fuck it, I'm going to chase this down one more time. And I'm leaving out a lot of failures in between that first time and the second time. It took me 42. It took me like 15 years to finally get my finances in order from where I'd fucked up when I was younger or later on. You know, I wasn't happy, so I was doing stupid shit trying to fill a hole that couldn't be filled because I was doing stupid I didn't like being a realtor, man. You're dealing with people during their most stressful time of their life. Fuck that noise. I did it. I did what I had to do, but it was always so I could take another crack at bat, man. And so 2016 comes along. Diana and Robbie, literally probably pretty much the only two people on the planet that were like, hey, go do this. This is your chance. And I can remember that I didn't have much money, guys. But I did have a couple of things going for me. One, I had a spouse that was down with it, like, hey, chase this down. You've earned your opportunity. It's your, you know, this was everything I had. Everything I had built over 15 years. Every Christmas present I had gotten. Every birthday present that was everything. Everything went into that store. There was no stone left unturned when I opened the doors in 2016. And so I put all my money, what was personally mine, on the line. And when we were getting close, I can remember I was running out of money. I can remember my buddy Robbie, because I had made up my mind I was not going to get any loan whatsoever because of the 15-year fucking loan I had to pay back home for my dad. And I just wasn't going to do it, man. I was like, fuck that. So remember, there's a lesson there. I had been burned from my jackassery and had to pay 15 years for doing dumb shit. So if there's any young bucks out there, man, if your parents stick their neck out for you, you need to use that as motivation. And I was always making excuses what was going on, and I should have just got shit done. I should have pushed through, man. I didn't realize what I was stepping into, or I would have got it done then. But in 2016, you got to understand, people are looking at things now, and yeah, everything's great. But in 2016, I believe that we're probably the only card shop in the country that opened. I do not believe there was another card shop in the entire country opening at that time. So I had card shop owners tell me I was a fucking idiot. I had friends tell me I wasn't going to do it. I mean, there wasn't many people who did think that it would work. There were a few. My brother, my mother, my father, Robbie, Diana, like I said. That was pretty much my posse as far as believing I could pull this bullshit off. So we opened up the store, and I caught a break early on. There was Tim, but one thing I want to say is there was Gary. I'd always worked with Gary at the card shows. He's the supply guy at the card shows, so I'd always had in the back of my mind, hey, if I ever open a store, if Gary's retired or wants a part-time job, I'm going to ride with Gary, because Gary you can trust. There's very few people on this planet that you can trust. And Gary, you can trust. So I had made up my mind. I think the first step is man, if you're starting out and you don't have a lot, man, you got to catch some breaks, and you got to make some good choices. And Gary was a good choice. Gary was honest. He wasn't going to rip me off. So I rolled with Gary. I went and asked Gary if he'd come work. He's like, hell yeah, let's ride. So it was me and Gary. And, I mean, those first days, I can remember talking to Robbie, like, we sold $1.10. Gary sold $1.10 one day. That's $1 plus tax. So we actually sold $1. And there were times like, oh, fuck. The day we opened, I had $4,300 in the bank. That's it. $4,300. And a couple showcases of cards, a few boxes. If you go back and look at the store's wax inventory on the day I opened, the boxes are so far apart that if one of them had COVID-19, the other one would not get it. That's how they were fucking 6 feet apart. So it's one of those things where any of this shit I'm saying, you can fucking reference it, ask anybody, it's straight up accurate. And so me and Gary were grinding away, and then it was just hard work. Me and Robbie were pounding away, and then Tim came along, he passed away on July 5th a couple years ago, but he was literally the foundation of the store. Lucky break. But the thing is to catch your lucky break, you got to be willing to put yourself out there, and you got to be willing to take your chance, man. If it's your passion, you know, you'll figure it out, man. Even if you fail, It took 15 years. But if I fail this time, I'm not going to let that fire die. I'm going to come back 15. It won't be 15 years next time because I've wised up and I won't put myself in that much of a jam. I'll get the fuck out of Dodge and I'll do something different. But anyway, let's not even talk about that. We're not going back to that. We're going to fucking chase Blowout down like a ravaged fucking dog. We're going to fucking topple him. And when we're done, I'm going to drop the fucking mic, probably hand it off to Rookie and Joe and Gary and say, I'm fucking out of here. But until then, we're going to drag nuts. But let's get back on track. So then we had Gary. It was me and Gary grinding out. I used to work so much in that store on the concrete that my hips would hurt. Like, people don't understand all the little things that we did. I mean, it was ridiculously stupid, the effort, but that's because you had something you were passionate about. If you have something you're passionate about, you'll do things that, like, I wasn't willing to do in real estate. And that's why, like, fuck it. If you're not passionate about something, quit. Just quit. Just quit doing that shit. It'll kill you. So find whatever it is. That's it. I don't give a fuck if it's poker. Create a website for poker. If it's fucking Garbage Pail Kids, create a Garbage Pail Kid website. People love passion. If you're passionate about what you're doing, man, people will follow. So the next wonderful thing was Austin was our customer. And he would come in and bug me. Hey, can I work for you? Hey, can I work for you? And it was them and this other kid. They both kept asking. And I just made up my mind. I was like, the kid who asked me the most, like last, is who I'm going to hire. And one kid asked 2, 3, 4 times. He stopped. Austin kept coming in and asked. And I was like, all right, man, you're hired. You want to talk? He's like a younger Gary. He's like an 18-year-old Gary that you can trust. So I had 2 guys in a card shop, which is unusual, that you could actually trust. Like, literally, you can trust those cats. And so that was it, man. With Robbie, Tim, Gary, and Austin, it was on. So I was grinding away. And then all of a sudden, cards started becoming cool. It was Dak Prescott and Zeke. There was this kind of this wave that was starting to climb, and it was wild. It was like just luck. I mean, it was just luck. But again, I talk a lot about luck, but to be lucky, you gotta put yourself out there, man. Who cares if you fail? Nobody remembers that shit. Nobody sits around and talks about how fucking big of a loser I was anymore. But it is what it is, man. It's okay. Those moments, I wouldn't trade them for anything. I wouldn't trade all that heartache and all that time I thought I let my father down or my family down. Those things are good. And so it was going pretty good. And then social media, like I started hopping on Facebook and videotaping our breaks. And that was it, man. We were videotaping other customers break them. And that took off up quick and in a hurry, man. And, that was no master plan there. All it was passion fueling. And I look back now and I'm like, damn, we would go live 12 or 14 hours and it's fucking insanity. But we would. And it was one of those things where Philip came along. He created the website for me on Shopify, and then Joe came along and was sleeving. And Joe's somebody I can count on tremendously. And then the rest is really history, man. We had a lot of breaks. I don't want to go into all that. That's not important. And it doesn't matter whether we're the best car shop in the country or the 500th best car shop in the country. What matters is how I feel about me and my business. And today I was talking to Rookie and Austin, and this COVID thing is kind of giving me some time to kind of stop and think about my life and my store. And I just was like, man, we should really be proud of what we've built. And I am. I'm proud to be the leader of the nation. There's not a day that goes by where somebody doesn't send me a message. There'll be times when I'm having a hard day, maybe personal problems or just having a bad day. We all have them. And I'll get a message from someone that says, hey, man, you lifted me up, man, having the balls to say that. Or, hey, man, I appreciate you staying positive. I look forward to your videos, man. My wife left me. I'm suicide, whatever it is. That is powerful stuff. Like, to know that there's people out there that actually give a shit about you. And that's it, like, fuck anything else. Like, I'm happy. And I think that's what's important is that is the American dream. Like, people who say it can't happen, or, I'm no smarter than anybody else. Literally, the key to your success or your happiness is just to find your passion and then not give up. If you have it going well and you crash, it's okay, man. And it's okay when you're in that pit to be down a little bit. Man, people are assholes, man. It's okay, man, to be down there. Like, I'm leaving out the parts where I would stay in the bathtub all day because I didn't even want to face myself. I'm leaving out, that I was dead broke, that I was spending more than I made. I'm leaving out, some of the raw stuff because it's no fun to talk about, But if you're having your struggles, you're not alone. There's a lot of us out there like that. Just stick around. When it's all said and done, like, we're just in the middle of our story. Like, we're like on chapter 7. The end of the book, when the last page is written, I honestly believe that we will be the best. I believe that. And just stick around. We'll show you how this all unfolds, one way or the other. If you're struggling, hang in there. Keep your head on a swivel. If you're out there trying to be an essential worker and help everybody else, wear a mask. The bottom line, man, chase your fucking dreams, baby. Let's go. Hope y'all have a good night. Always be dragging. Nothing but love for y'all. Everything y'all have done for me, I will never, whether it's Gary, Austin, Joe, Rookie, Clint, Bryant, or anybody who's ever helped me, you know who you are. I truly appreciate it. We're going to do some shit. Get ready. Bottom 10, you in trouble. We're about to fuck y'all up. Holla at you, boy. Deuces. Let's go.